fact that you're not spending hours trying to clean things because the product just does the work itself, which is amazing. So I can't speak enough. I just put a nice little order in. I'll probably be ordering every couple of weeks gallons of it because I go through it so fast, my cleaner. So I'm excited to continue to use it, and definitely trying to get some of these other detailers out here in Phoenix to start getting onto it. So
Same, dude. I'm over here trying to push it hard, and we're getting ready to do a nice event in December. I'm gonna order about 100 bottles of that stuff and try to
love
sell
it.
them all at that event. And
Nice.
Jack's Wax is gonna be there. Chemical Guys is gonna be there. But you know what? Those guys are not detailers,
No,
so they really don't know what's up, you know.
no.
And Matt is not a detailer either, but Matt is all over this. He is hungry for knowledge, and he is reaching out to the community and getting hooked up with the right people. And that is what's going to separate him from these other jokers. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
this
No, but
big
just
event, sorry,
it's.
go ahead.
I'm excited. No, I'm excited. I mean, Simonized events going on. I don't know. That's one that I'd like to get back to. That's going on with some of the big detailers and a lot of the suppliers and stuff. Kind of reaching out and talking to a couple of people. I know a lot of the bigger McGuire's and a lot of those crazy guys are all out at that. But that's where I think, and I know that Gorilla can be. That's where he needs
Mhm.
to be. That's the
Yeah,
big place. He needs. I mean, his product stands right up there with any of those other products. Doesn't matter if they've
absolutely does.
been in business for 30, 40 years. I'm telling you that his product works. So
Yes.
I mean, I use it. We use it today, and we client just came out and said, "Oh my gosh, man, the plastic
Phenomenal.
looks amazing. They look clean. They don't look too greasy, oily. It smells good." And that's what it's about, dude. At the end of the day, it's that your product works efficient and that you don't leave residue behind and all that good stuff. And I'll tell you, you can't go wrong. You just can't. I mean, so shout out
Yep.
to those guys. Keep doing the good stuff that you guys are doing.
Yes, sir. Most
But
definitely. So back to what we were doing or where we were at. So let's go ahead
yeah,
and get a nice start on this. What is your name, sir? I don't want to
my
call you Extra Mile the whole
no,
way.
my no, you're good. My name's Matt. So I go
Okay. So
Matt.
Matt
Matt's my
and
first.
Matt.
Yep,
We
Matt and
got
Matt.
Matt from Gorilla Car Care and we got
Yeah,
Matt from Extra Mile in the house.
that's
Matt
it.
is our honored guest tonight,
I
and
appreciate it.
he's gonna go ahead and run us through his journey. He's
Yep.
been in the game for 12 years, and he has a very unique background in the corporate world that I kind of want to get a summary of. I don't want to dive too deep into that because I don't
Yep.
want to take up time to talk about your detailing journey, which is why we're really here. We want to hear about that stuff.
No,
So,
for sure. Well, let me just kind of give you just a brief rundown. I mean, my background, I grew up back east in Washington, D.C. I moved out, played ball, went to school, finished up, came out here, finished up school out here in Phoenix. And then I got into the corporate world and into sales, and just because it was very quickly and a lot of money to be made. And that's kind of the direction I kind of went. And then I got into the education field and got into the executive level and worked myself up to vice president with one of the universities out here in Phoenix. So I did that for about 18 years, and very, very, very
nice.
fun. A lot of good experience, a lot of good connections. Spent a lot of time traveling, working at a lot of the different locations and campuses and stuff like that. Working with a lot of students, and so I continued on finishing up my master's program in marketing as I was there at the university for the time I was there, and then you know, as a lot of people, I mean, the corporate was great. It's got a lot of benefits. It's got a lot of cons too, and no means does it mean that it's a bad thing. But it got to a point where I was ready personally for something or a new adventure. And I think the venture for me was that I wanted to do something that I know that I could put my energy into and that I could see the results and the rewards paying back to myself instead of the corporate level. And I think that was, really where I started to make that turn was initially just as the direction of kind of how things were taking place in the corporate world and how they wanted us to initially manage and control and coach and things with our employees and directors and stuff. And it was just, it wasn't my style of who I was as a person. I'm very more natural and letting people be and kind of be creative and find their ways and niches and things that work for them. I've never been one that says that one shoe fits all. Never have in all the industry I've done, corporate, detailing, it's not, it doesn't bring success. So, and I think at that point I decided, at no means that was it bad, but I think it was the time where I was ready to start looking for other things. So then at that point I started, looking at, buying cars on the side, detailing them, flipping them. I initially then started to reach out to a buddy of mine that works in the medical field, and he was detailing on the side and had his little gig going. So I kind of joined him for a little bit and started doing it. Really, really liked it. And he wasn't so much into it, but more on the side and kind of a sidekick thing. But I really kind of attached and ran with it. I went into the social media side, and it really just started just catching on fire.
So
And I
would you
think that's
say this was more of a passion project for you,
absolutely,
like
absolutely,
throughout, even to this day? I think
absolutely.
that's super important to point out. I think if you get into anything for the money side of it, you're not going to be
No.
happy at the end of the day.
Absolutely not. And, and
It,
and like you said, you hit it on the head. I was a corporate, and in no means do I want to boost, but I was making significant money. I'm talking well over six figures. And, to walk away from something like that that's secure, there is some risk in it, But in anything you do in life, if you're not going to take some risk or put some skin in the game, you're never going to see success. You're never going to grow. You're never going to be popular. You're never going to do whatever you want to do as a person. And I think that's what took me. And it took some time to get to my point where I was ready and I was, as a detailer and really building up that clientele base and really understanding the product, understanding what works, what's sufficient, what's inefficient, how much time do you spend on a car when they're paying for certain things, So
yeah,
I think that's a big thing. If I was talking and speaking to new detailers or detailers that maybe are newer in the industry, is really understand what, and I think I've heard you speak about it and XYZ and a lot of the other detailers talk about, is what they're paying for. You obviously want to provide the service and be at the level of, pristine and deliver what you promise you're going to. But I think what I learned at the beginning too as a detailer is that I thought I had to basically, if it was a basic cleaning or wipe down, I was gung ho. Like I felt like I had to do a full detail.
had to be perfect. Yeah,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
So by the end of the day, they're paying for basic cleaning, but I'm sitting there giving them full detail. So at the end of the
yeah.
day, I'm like, oh well, yeah, great. They're ecstatic and they're excited, but I just spent all this time giving them something, which wasn't a bad thing. It obviously is a way to start building up your clientele and your reputation stuff, but is really finding that fine line how do you separate detail from maintenance? How do you find out what an interior wipe down is compared to a full
Yeah.
detail?
And I've
Really kind of
I've
understand
kind
that
of
all.
been on a trip lately about setting expectations. And I think that's how you get where you're talking about. So I think all detailers go through that, and I think some of them come out of it, some of them don't.
Absolutely.
The
Absolutely.
ones that don't are the ones that don't make it. Not
Right.
because they're bad
Nope.
detailers. It's because there's no way you can live off of $5, $8, $10 an hour, right? Which is what you end up
Absolutely.
making if you
Absolutely.
don't set expectations. So, new
Absolutely.
guys, set your expectations. If you need a one-on-one with me, DM me. I will do a one-on-one session with you guys about how to set expectations, how I do it, what's worked for me and what hasn't. So,
Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree anymore. And I just think that, the other thing with detailing is, as as well as any of the other ones, is that there are so many products. These are just little things I've learned in the many years. And you can it's just like having tools in your belt. Certain tools work better for certain detailers, or they like certain tools when it comes to certain jobs. Completely fine. It comes to polishers, buffers, interior tools, whatever. Cleaners is a big one for me. Find the detail products that work for you. Stick with
yeah.
them. Don't
Man, dude,
vary.
preach, bro,
Do
preach.
not vary. Do
The
not vary
dudes,
from it.
yes. I see so many people trying every freaking product out on the market.
Absolutely.
It's like, dude,
Absolutely.
you're wasting your money, man.
Mm-hmm.
Find a system that works for you. Stick to that
Absolutely.
system. And then when one of the products in that system fails you, do a little research and try a
Yep.
different product and kind of evolve like that. But you don't want to have a closet full of detailing
No,
products. It's
absolutely
inefficient.
not. It
Now you
really
don't even
is.
know which one to reach for, right?
That's
So,
exactly right. No, I
so how
agree.
long did it take you to get to the point to where you knew what detailing products were yours? Did you go through that phase where you
I
were kind of
did.
buying
I did.
everything?
Oh, absolutely, dude. I think I have stuff in my garage and some of my storage that I've never used. It's gallons of stuff that I went from Auto Pro stuff to McGuire's. There's a big supplier out here which people may have heard of, but it's called Superior Image. It's an auto detail. They basically sell. They're a wholesaler, but their major portion is going to car washes and things like that. But they have a front storefront that basically they sell all products for detailers and stuff, from waxes to polishes to machines to tools, whatever you want to do. And I'll tell you, I started getting in, and they started getting into their own auto detailing products. And I started to slowly trindle back in to try to test them. And I'm like, dude, Matt, you just said, and you told yourself this, stick with what you need to do, stick with what works. You're going to always see new products coming out. It's not a bad thing, but it's like to sit there and spend your money, you're going to waste more money on product than you are in the fact that you could make it by just simply using the product that you currently have. So I went through that whole spiel myself. I had so much product. I didn't know what I was. One time I was using this tire dressing or gel. I was using this interior cleaner. Oh, I went through 1,000 different glass cleaners, because everyone says they have the best glass cleaner,
Dude, I've recently discovered cleaning glass is all about having a shit ton of rags. If you
Absolutely.
have 10 rags, like, you cannot go wrong. 10
No,
rags is what
no,
I aim to have. So where I lack in having a ton of products, I have a ton of rags, bro. I
absolutely.
think, like,
Absolutely.
volume, the amount of rags you have is so underrated. Because rags are
Absolutely.
boring, right?
Oh yeah. Oh,
So
absolutely. And
they're
and they're a
overlooked.
pain. You get tired of doing laundry, you're tired of cleaning. You go through the whole thing. I mean,
Yeah,
you
great
get
point.
tired.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I think that's the key is really honing into the products that will work. Yes, there's products when you get into the paint correction side of things, which is a completely different compared to the interior cleaning side of things. That can vary. As I mentioned before, when you're starting to do paint corrections and you're dealing with certain cars, the paint quality, the depth of the clear coat, the depth of the paint on cars are so variant when it comes to the type of
Yeah.
car. So the products are going to vary on what and how it works, what's going to be more efficient and productive for you.
Absolutely, absolutely,
So
man. Paint correction is a whole nother animal, and you can kind of attack it the same way, right? Like what we were talking about, but you
absolutely.
have to, like, I've amassed products as I've gone, so I'll communicate to the customer if I need more time. They might not like it sometimes, but I mean, I refuse to have 100 compounds and polishes
No,
in the bag.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it
Yeah.
hasn't happened to me yet to where I have to delay a car, but
Yeah.
that's also because I'm constantly doing research, man.
Yep.
I'm constantly trying to learn more about my craft, and I'm always picking other people's brains because I'm super new to this. I'm
Oh
only a
yeah.
year and a
Oh, it's
half in,
dude,
so
I'm picking people's brains and looking at product and understanding people on a daily basis. People that have been doing it long. So it doesn't matter how, like I said, if you're not open to learning and learning new things and improving your skill, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. You're going to be coming to, and you're going to hit a wall. You're going to hit a wall eventually. So you've got to always continue to be on top of your game. You got to understand what you're doing, what products you're using. Understand so that people can see that you're continuing to educate yourself, that you want to stay on top of the game, and that you're not going to stay behind and fall behind because the products, are increasing or improving, and the amount of time and what you're using, and all that stuff's important. And those people that know about cars, because a lot of the people that you'll come across, there's a good amount of them that will know what they're talking about. Some of them have done some research, some understand, may have done a little bit of touch the toes and hands into the detailing. So
dude,
you want to
honestly,
know
those are
yourself.
my favorite customers. I've
Absolutely.
what I've noticed is the customers that know the game, they know a little bit, they don't complain about price. They totally
Amen.
understand how much work
Absolutely.
goes into this.
Absolutely.
They get it. So I had that brand new Mustang come in a couple of weeks ago, that Mach-E. This customer
Yep.
already knew about ceramic coatings. He even, like, I told
Perfect.
him, use G Technique. He said, "Oh, I love that brand. It's a great brand." Yeah, man, this dude was on his
Oh,
shit.
love it.
And when he came in, he was like, I was telling him, look, we got this done for you. This could have probably been a little bit better, but it wasn't what we were shooting for. He's like, dude, don't even worry about it. It's
Isn't
phenomenal.
that isn't
I know
amazing?
how much work goes into this. He says, I know what it takes to polish a car. I know how hard it is to ceramic. This dude had even done a ceramic himself and screwed up and
Wow.
left a high spot.
Sure.
So he really appreciated it. But yeah, not to go on a tangent, but yeah, those educated customers, they're super
Winning.
rare, but they're the best.
They really are.
100%.
I mean, it really makes it puts a different perspective. It makes you feel that not that those that aren't super educated, but that don't make it feel that it's as rewarding. But you feel they value your time and your education, your experience, and your time, and that makes me feel good. You know, as a detailer, I'm
Hmm.
thinking, dude, that makes me feel, even if they didn't give, people a tip or a recognition, or like, hey, here's an extra amount of money just for working and doing what you're doing. Just them acknowledging the amount of time and effort and the skill that's being put into it is that's rewarding to me. I mean,
Yeah, man.
that's part of the
Priceless.
detailing. Yeah, it really is. So I think that's important to understand too. Is you know energy levels are extremely important. I'm all about the energy level. I'll tell you, as soon first time I meet a client, even after a continue energy level, that is a huge part. Initial meeting of any client, if your energy level is at a point, I'm telling you, it makes a difference going forward in the longevity of what relationship you have with that client. So,
Most
that's
definitely.
that's
Very
something
well
that's important to
said.
me. So,
So you said you had a marketing background?
yes, yeah, I
Dude,
do.
how crucial has that been to your success? Like,
I'll tell you,
talk to
it's
us a little bit about your marketing strategy, because I think that's a big wake up call for a lot of detailers where it's like, dude, you're not really a detailer.
no,
You're a big marketing machine. No
absolutely,
one cares
absolutely.
how good you can detail if no one knows about you, and no one cares about how good you are if you can't sell them on it, right? So
That's
you have
right.
to get
Yep.
yourself out in front of them. So
And I
talk to us a
and
little bit about that.
I think that's a big thing. I mean, I think obviously your presentation is extremely important, which presentation goes right along with your marketing. So how you're
Mhm.
presenting yourself, how you're presenting when it comes to delivering your product, but also the initial introduction to that particular client. But when it comes to marketing, I'll tell you the big thing for me. I knew getting into it, like I mentioned before earlier, is that I knew the way to fastly grow and to really get my particular product or my company detailing out quickly was through social media and through that side. And I just stuck to that, and I knew that if I did, that it was going to grow very quickly, very,
Well,
very
let me
quickly.
ask you this. So, when you started 12 years ago, so Facebook was still wide open as far as free advertisement. It wasn't saturated yet. In the
Yep.
last few years, have you noticed a decline in the business coming to you from Facebook? Or are you dug in so deep
I'm pretty
that,
deep. I mean, personally, I'm pretty deep in Facebook. I mean, if you look at my Instagram, I don't even have 1,000 followers. I might have,
yeah,
I may be lucky if I have 200, you know? Um, and it just is. I just didn't put the effort in on the Instagram side because I just jumped in so deep into Facebook. I really did because as I mentioned, I think last time we talked, you know, the Facebook itself, there's so many avenues that you can go with that when it comes to, like I mentioned, into the community connections, into the different communities in these neighborhoods. There's businesses that I connect into with their business pages, and then their employees are initially looking and seeing that, hey, this is a great product. Like I mentioned, like we have 3 or more offices we go to that we go and do employees' cars, and that's just through social media and networking, dude. It's
so
just
back up a sec, back up there. So you're going after other businesses. So you're going after fleets through
we we
Facebook?
we have absolutely. That's how several of our the accounts that we have now for that we were
So
able to
can you
get through.
give me a little summary of how you go about attacking that? How
Yeah,
you go about getting that lead and then converting it?
absolutely. So the for me, my initial thing was getting through Facebook and finding these companies pages, their Facebook pages or their advertisement. Like a couple of different companies, all they don't care. I mean, was Fairway Mortgage Company. Academy Mortgage Company. These are big nationwide companies that I knew were I had known some people there that worked there, but actually getting in and sending a message saying, hey, these are the services that we provide. I know you guys work long hours, because I knew what they did. I know the loan officer's lifestyle, the real estate office, they're long hours. And I'll tell you, those are some of the key players, because they want their cars to look good every single time. There isn't a loan officer that I've met that doesn't like their cars to look good. There's just something about it. Real estate agents. So that was the big thing. I thought, you know what? I'm going to tap into their page. I end up sending a message to them, feeds back. I said, hey, these are the services we'll provide. We're able to come to your office. It's a great pitch, good opportunity for you to provide something for your clients or for your, sell. When it came to real estate, I've had it where they've actually used it to give home opening, greeting gifts to their new clients that buy a house. Hey, here's a detail. Here's a detail for your, for purchasing a home. It's just a housewarming gift. But, with the loan officers and these offices, these guys are like, dude, we're going to start using it as leverage and opportunity for these guys for incentives. Hey, how many loans can you close this month? How many things? With that being said, you know what? You're one of the top performers. We're going to go ahead and have your car detailed this week or in 2 weeks, So
they did that on their own.
Yeah.
Like that was an incentive they created on their own.
Absolutely. So
getting their car detailed by you was their prize for kicking ass at their job. Dude, that's so awesome, man.
And I'll tell you what's interesting is that continues on, and it's continued on in the years. Now what they're doing, which is even greater, is they start buying gift certificates for the Christmas parties, and they hand them out as door prizes. And I'm giving, I'm giving gift certificates, and these guys are winning full details on their cars instead of just a mini detail or cleaning at the office. They're getting a full detail. It's something that they win because the companies are paying for these gift certificates and stuff for the holidays. So there's so many avenues that I have kind of gone into, and I just keep on digging, and that's a big one. But the social media, that was one of the reasons, getting into with these companies on their company pages, acknowledging, letting them know what services you have available, letting them know, hey, we are mobile. We're able, we're a little different than obviously having a shop. So we're mobile. We can come to you. What better way is it to come out of your office after a 12, 13-hour day? That's what these loan officers and these guys put in, and come into a clean car. Come into a clean car.
That sells itself.
Oh, it sells itself. There's
most
no
definitely.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, dude. That's an awesome strategy that I hope a mobile detailer on here hears and goes after. But I want to know how many of these companies that you have to hit up before you actually had success with that. Was the first one, a home run, or did you have to try a lot of times?
It took some time because, it becomes this trust thing. It's just like with a lot of other things in life. People have to trust you as a person. Second of all, understand and see the value behind what you're providing. Because obviously, if the company is going to provide that as a gift or something they're going to provide to their client or for their employees, they want to see value in it. And they also want to be sure that it's actually going to be something that's rewarding and not something that they're going to come out and the car looks like crap. So there's a trust level that has to be built, obviously, initially, which doesn't take much. I think once you start, and for us, it was just basically doing more at the executive level. So director or manager or someone's car. And then once they were able to see, hey, the service they provide is great. It's stellar. It's amazing. It's an awesome opportunity, great product. We definitely should move forward with it. So initially, it took some time. It took a time. Like we didn't get and land these other mortgage companies and stuff right away. It took some time.
So let's dive a little deeper into that. So how many mortgage companies that you have to hit before one of them said, yes, come detail our ride?
I would say it took me probably, because there's several that we've done and that we don't do, because with that thing, they kind of jump around in that industry. So a lot of the people that you kind of build that trust and connections with kind of jump from one company to the other. Just it is what that kind of industry is. It's kind of a funny thing. But so it took probably, I would say, probably a fair amount, probably a handful to really kind of get in and really solidify what kind of work skill and what kind of product you have to deliver for them to really feel confident. And what happens is once you do land that, what's nice is that is leverage for you to go and sell and use that as a building and selling tool. So you say,
definitely, because you can kind of name drop a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
The reason I ask you that is because I think a lot of people give up easily, and you can't give up The
No,
first person that
no.
tells you no, you can't give up. You got to
Yeah.
keep going, man. It might take you 10, 15 of these companies that you have to contact before you get one to say, hey, yeah, come on, come do our car. We're going to trust you. We're going to give you an opportunity. So it's important to be persistent, right?
And it really does.
That's
I mean, and
yeah.
that's just, yeah, you really do. The persistent side of things are probably the key in detailing, because you're going to get a lot of naysayers and a lot of people that are saying, you know, oh, he just did this, or he didn't do this, or, whatever. You got the old negative Nancy's out there. You're going to deal with
Mhm.
those no matter what. And it's just getting over those and letting people understand and know. And as you show what you can do, and provide the service that you know that you can do, and the excellent work, and you go in it knowing that you are the best. You don't go in it thinking that I'm going to be hodgepodge and I'm going to do what I can do to get through the job and move on. It's no, I want them to understand there is no other place that they're going to go to. They're not going to go to another detailer. They're not going to reach out to another place.
So how have you balanced? I guess what I'm trying to ask is, what's been your go-to? Has it been outstanding quality
Mm-hmm.
and a price to match? So like high price, great quality, or are you kind of balancing that a little bit and saying, oh, you know
Balance.
what, we're gonna stay right there with the competition. We know we're gonna do a better job than the competition, but we're still gonna stay there with them. Have you kind of seen customers say, you know what, I'm gonna save $20 and go with this
Oh,
guy, and they're not gonna vacuum as good? Like, how's your
yep.
experience with these customers been?
I,
How
I,
how price driven is that market? I guess is what I'm
yeah.
what I'm trying to
Yeah,
ask.
I'll tell you, I get a lot on a weekly, daily basis. People will call and ask. I mean, today, quite a few I got to respond every day to, and asking prices. The $1 million thing is, what's the price? What are you going to charge? And, be honest with you, I'm actually lower. I'm not the lowest, but I'm not the highest. I price right just in the middle of it. And I feel that, my service, of the quality of service I'm provided, I'm not the lowest, but it allows people to see that, hey, he's providing excellent service. He's not at the
At a
highest
fair
point, at
price.
a fair price. And because of that, what happens is the reputation starts getting going, and the word of mouth, and the references and all, it just continues to just trickle right on down. So that's what I feel. I mean, a lot of people will go out. I mean, I know detailers here that will go out and just gouge people. I mean, they won't touch a car. Literally, they won't touch a car or detail for $400 or $500. And I'm like, dude, that's just ludicrous. I mean, it just doesn't
Yeah.
make sense to me. Like, I don't find that going to, yeah, okay, you have a great detail and you do it for $500, but how many are you going to continue? The business is about reputation, and also repetitive, and continuing business. It's not about hitting a one-time deal and then thinking that you're the best detail in the world. It's not about that. It's about the continuous repeating customers and the reputation. That's what's important. So marketing yourself, not at the lowest, but at a point, and at the beginning, you're going to probably have to be a little lower. You've got to get your reputation to a level, and your product and your development, depending if you're coming new into it, you've got to be able to feel that you're confident, and you're able to know what you're doing. And your time, how much time are you spending on a car? How much all those things play a factor, because people want to know. Like, they don't want you spending, as important as it is, they don't want you spending a whole day, 9 hours on a car, and they're without a car. Well, how do you manage it so that the car looks sufficient? It's detailed, it's clean, it's on point, and you're giving them the price that's important and appealing to them. So I think finding that medium part is what's important to me, and I found it's been successful in all the time I've been doing it. Not being at the high point, but also being in a reasonable thing. Because I want to attract, I don't want just the high end. I don't want the high end cars all the time. Be honest with you. I mean, we do a lot of them, but the middle to lower, or just average drivers, they're the ones that are consistent. They're the ones that are calling me every month and wanting their cars done. It ain't the high
Yeah.
ends. They really aren't.
Yeah.
And
What it comes down to, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So
absolutely,
you boys that
absolutely.
are out there hitting those $500 licks,
Uh,
hey, thumbs up. Keep doing your thing, brother.
yeah.
But if everybody else that's doing it a different way, don't knock them. You know what?
Nope.
I see a lot
That's
of that
right.
within the industry where we're kind of
100.
knocking each other. We need to stop knocking each other. We need to
Mm-hmm.
help each other. You know what I'm saying? If you got
Absolutely.
a detailer that's on the lower end and he aspires to do those $500 details, help the brother out. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Absolutely.
That I don't want to go on a tangent about that, but I really hate the dissent within, our own ranks.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Oh
if we
yeah.
could get organized, bro, we could set our price, fair across the
Absolutely.
board.
I couldn't
That's
agree
probably
more.
just a dream, right? But
But
it'd be nice.
I think if this is the start, getting people that are networking and doing these things, that you're spending your time doing these live broadcasts, spending time like I haven't had the chance to do it. I love being able to get online and socialize and talk with people and all over the place. I don't even I socialize interact with people here in Phoenix and stuff, and there's a lot out here. But being able to get us and be on the same page and help us understand, hey, it's got to start somewhere. We can get to that point. I believe that we can get to a point where we're actually thinking the same. We're providing the same service. We're consistent. We're not inconsistent and varying in all the different areas when it comes to, hey, I want a full interior detail. Well, that's going to be $450, and then Mike over here is charging them 150. So
Hmm.
finding that place where it's balanced so that people feel confident and understand they can trust any detailer.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I love it. So I was gonna ask you something else, brother, and I lost my train of thought. So let me stall a little bit here. I really want to get a Discord going for all of us. So I heard you say the other day that you want to do like a meet for
Mm-hmm.
detailers, and there's plenty of meets already. But I think
Absolutely.
if we could organize a meet with like-minded, maybe once a
I agree.
year or twice a year in a central location,
Yep.
that would be amazing,
I
dude.
think it would be
So,
amazing. And I think that these are the things that we need to be able to allow these upcomers and these new people to come and be exposed and help these guys. Explain, show them the things that we're doing. Have an opportunity during this summit, or whatever we want to call it, a summit, a seminar, a gathering, whatever we want to call this particular thing we come up with, and have an opportunity where there's, like, go back to the corporate side of things. We had seminars, we had conferences that we went to, and we had hands-on training. We went and learned how to become coaches and directors and all that
hmm
kind of stuff. It's no different than in the detail world. Why not have a clinic where we were able to bring in old
yeah,
cars, or bring in someone's car, or even clients' cars, where we're able to provide a clear code, or coding, and help these new guys understand and see how it's done and how it's done efficient.
yeah,
It's a
definitely.
seminar. It's a great
I'm working
opportunity.
on I'm working on something like that here locally. I want to get a detailing seminar going where I
That's
bring
great.
some local detailers in and I set it up corporate style. Like what I was in, I did retail management for 15 years.
Wow.
So we would set up, you know how a corporate meeting is. You've got your tables, your
Oh,
chairs, your
yep,
projector, and your screen, and
yep.
we have a PowerPoint, and we're discussing a subject, and we all get to interact and put our feedback in. Hey, let me know how it's going over there in your district, Mike. Well, it's going like this for me. For
Yeah,
real, dude, we
I
can do
know.
that shit,
Oh,
and we can all kind of figure it out and come together and say, hey, man, spread the word. That dude down the
absolutely.
street that's doing these $25 details, we need to knock his ass out of there. We need to either we need to get him in here. We need to
Yep,
get him into this Discord. We need to get him to this seminar, and we need to let him know that he can charge 60, 70, 80,
absolutely.
make a little more money, do a little less work. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
yep.
Detail
I
Alliance Gorilla.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm all on
Let's
board with
do it,
this.
man.
I'm all on it.
Let's do it.
I think it's a great thing. And even if we did it, we changed it to like, hey, the first year we're in Houston, the next year we'll do it in Phoenix. Just to kind of attract the different detailers in the different locations. Hey, we'll go to Florida next year. We'll do whatever, so that we can kind of give them a
Dude,
taste
people
of.
will absolutely travel
Oh, I
for
know they
good
will.
information. Because I
Absolutely.
see folks, like, there's a shit ton of people going to SEMA this year
Yep. Yep.
to hit up all the different detail products and everything else that's
Absolutely.
happening within the industry. But not only SEMA, I see people going to all these workshops all around the country. But what
Absolutely.
I'm not really seeing a big focus in that, it's a lot of training. It's a
Yeah.
lot of here, this is how you paint correct. There's not a
Yeah.
lot of, hey, this is how you run your business. This is how
That's
you
right.
set an hourly wage. This is
Absolutely.
how you build your social media. I
Yep.
see a ton of detailers, or not a ton, but I see a few select YouTubers here that have amazing social media
Yep.
I'm a part of an awesome group called DetailWise Pro, started by Chicago Auto Pros. There you go.
Oh, there you
How
go.
would this compare to Chicago Auto Pros seminars? So Chicago Auto Pros is doing something very similar to this already, where they are diving deeper into the business side of things. But
Nice.
they can't necessarily handle all the loads. So just because
No.
they're already doing it doesn't mean we can't have
Yep.
another group similar. And I'm super tied in with Chicago Auto Pros, so I think we could kind of collaborate and build off of one another. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
one thing that Chicago Auto Pros has not started to hit on yet, and that's where I was going before Serrano's went in there and hit me with that Chicago Auto Pros. I think he was kind of reading the situation. Is there's not a lot of these folks with YouTube followings telling you, well, hey, this is how I started my YouTube following, and this is what it's done for my business.
Yep.
And I don't see a lot of people really pushing,
No.
hey, get your ass on social media,
Yeah.
because social
Yep.
media will get you out there to another level. So I
Absolutely.
think that's important too. And who cares if it gets saturated?
Oh,
Saturate
yeah.
that shit.
Oh, absolutely.
That, because if we saturate that, we'll get to the next level. There will be something else that we can jump into.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And the more folks we get on social media educating and giving out good knowledge, the better we can become as an industry. And if there's
100%.
some, and the folks that aren't going to be given the good knowledge, they're not going to make it because
Nope.
no one's gonna follow their bullshit. You know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I
No, I
I
agree.
really want to see more of that. I see Chicago Auto Pros blew up with their YouTube channel, and then they started that program. I'm part of their Patreon, but I don't really hear a lot of talk about, hey, get your ass on social media because look what it did for our business. I think they're
Yeah.
kind of holding back.
Mm.
So that's an email
Yeah.
I've been waiting to send, and I think I'm gonna type it out tonight and send it over to Jason and see how he feels about that. See if he wants to do something like a little lecture on that in our next Q&A and kind of help encourage more people to just get in front of the camera, you
Yep.
know, and do a little video, even if you're just talking about what you offer with your interior detail. You know,
Absolutely.
it doesn't have to be
Absolutely.
fancy. Just get your
No.
ass in front of the camera and start doing it. And I
Absolutely.
think that's Serrano's. That's basically what he does. He just
Mm.
gets up every morning. I see him on his live every freaking morning, on the way to a job, addressing his audience. No, no frills, just being himself.
Yep.
I think everybody needs to do that, man. That scary has helped me. What do you mean? Serrano's, jump in here, bro.
Yeah, jump in.
Yeah, so I didn't even know Serrano's was in here. Serrano's can give us so much insight on what YouTube has done for his business. If anything, maybe it hasn't done anything for him. No, he says that's what has helped me. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, that's no, putting the kids to sleep.
Cool, man.
No, yeah, no, I agree. I think that's something that there is a lack of in the detail world. I think you hit it. That you can really get into is really, you know, the kind of like a tutorial. How do you go about doing? What is the efficient way of going about interior details? What's the more efficient way of actually starting paint corrections? What do you find being more efficient, maybe less time consuming? There's so many different avenues and so many different ways people go about doing those things. And I think, you know, like I said, there's never a wrong or right way. I mean, there's a right way, but there's obviously not a wrong way. There's many ways of doing certain things. So I just think helping people understand, there may be more sufficient ways to doing things that can save you time and money and can be beneficial for company purposes. But
Yeah.
I like that.
I
I really do.
We're gonna brainstorm it. We're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be an ongoing conversation for sure. And sometimes things sound really good on paper,
Yeah.
and then when you put them when you put rubber to the ground, they maybe don't work out so good. So
Yeah.
it's a matter of figuring out how we want to roll, what we want to do, getting it
Yeah.
going, and then seeing how it does.
For sure. No, I agree. That's
YouTube hasn't done much for me. So Serrano says YouTube hasn't really helped him grow his business, but he really enjoys showing his passion. So good for
ah,
you, man. And it definitely shows through in all of your content, man.
wow. That's good to know. You too have. So what on his? So he's saying YouTube hasn't been as sufficient. What's been his big key go to then?
I don't really know much about. I know he has been in the business for quite a while. He started off
Okay.
doing car wash, so like a Mr. Car Wash type setup,
Oh,
and he
okay.
got tired of dealing with their shit. So he started his own
Facebook.
business.
Facebook. Yep. There you
Ah,
go.
there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
that's a brother from another mother right there.
I want to hear who are the guys in here that tried Facebook and couldn't get it to work. I'm one of them. I tried
Yeah.
Facebook, dude. Facebook seems so saturated to me. Like there's a detailer every frickin' 2 hours posting his $20 details.
Yeah, yeah. And I do see a lot of that. Like I see it every day on Facebook. I see it, I see it, I see it, I see it. And the thing is yeah, there's a guy out here in Phoenix and bless his soul, he continues to work and he attracts the type of cars that I guess are fine. I don't necessarily want the car, not that I wouldn't do it, but like that are just completely trash. I mean, when I say trash, like repo style, and this guy is just offering $100 flat full interior detail. Doesn't matter, steaming, extracting, shampooing, and I'm just like, and people are attracted to that. But that's just like for me, and I don't want to say like I'm an arrogant, cocky guy, but that's just not. That's I'm a little, but like I don't want to attract that. I'm not interested in that. Like that just doesn't do it for me. So, um, but there are
Yeah,
people that
$100
love it.
for all that work? Hell
Not
no.
interested. Not interested. Yeah. So
Well, I think so. Serrano's is saying he loves them to trash the better. Serrano's, I believe, is hitting customers with some pretty fat invoices. I think we
mm,
spoke about something similar last time. So Serrano's will knock out a few a week, I think, and then just relax the weekend or relax a few days. So he's mastered that. Like he has conquered that market. I don't know how. I want to hear about it, Serranos. We need to get a little live going because I want to hear about that.
what's that?
$700 interior, bro.
See, that's it. There you go.
So how? How did you get to that point? That's
Yeah.
insane, dude. I do some pretty trashed interiors sometimes. I get about 220, 240 for them.
Yeah.
I cannot ever see anyone paying 700 for an interior.
That's
That's
pretty crazy.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Max has been two for holy moly, dude. That is unbelievable.
That is
That's
insane, man.
that's really good for you. I mean, that's great, man. We need you to come coach us then.
Yeah. Well, Serrano's, he just got into some seminars and doing seminars recently. And that's why I was saying, yo, people will drive because I think he's had people from Oklahoma come to his seminars to learn how to do his style of interior cleanup. And I think that's another hurdle. Everybody does things differently. It was trashed. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Matt, you've been in
Yes.
this for 12 years. Was there ever any point in these 12 years where you said, you know what, this is just not going to work. I got to do something different. Maybe
Um,
the economy kind of slowed down a little bit for you.
I think
How do
that
you deal with
yeah.
those ups and downs?
I think for me, I think I think it's at that year, that 2 to 3 year mark, you start thinking, is this for me? Is this something that I'm going to be able to continue to go longevity, long term? Is this something that I can continue to grind through? Because I wasn't seeing and getting the consistent work that I was hoping to get. Yeah, I was getting, starting to build, but wasn't where I wanted to be. And I'm like, dude, this isn't a way that you can't live on this. You can't make money. This isn't you're going to be able to sustain something like this. So there's times that I had gone through that thinking maybe I should start looking at something. Do I go back to the corporate world? Do I try to find something that I can start over? I think that's the part that you've got to start becoming recreative. You've got to be creative. You can't give up. You can't sit there and say, you know what, I'm not seeing the work. well, then what is it that you can do? What can you modify? What can you change? What are the things that you think you can do to, because what you're working or what you're doing obviously isn't attracting or accruing new business. So you've got to reinvent the wheel or create different ways to go. And that's really where I really started digging into the social media when it came to looking at different avenues when it came to Facebook. What areas can I attract more people? And that's where I started really I'm on Facebook every night, every week. I'm blasting out stuff to these Facebook groups, to these, and it's just, that's where it is. And that's
You
where I
know,
have continued to
you,
be.
awesome, dude. What I'm getting from this for everybody that's listening, I think what's really key is that listen to how Matt chose Facebook and he fucking went after it hard, and still to this day he drills that shit. Versus, I'm gonna use Instagram, I'm gonna use Facebook, I'm gonna go after Nextdoor, I'm gonna go after Google. You can't, yeah, meet me on the Facebook. You can't focus on every platform and
Nope.
expect success. You're spreading
Nope.
yourself out too thin. I started
Absolutely.
off like that. I was trying to hit everything. And then I started to really dial into my Instagram. And I'm really having a great time building a community through my Instagram, a detailers community. I'm working on turning that into a brand where I can help folks through product lines, through supplies, through tools, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
And where I've gotten my customers has been through Google Ads. Google
Okay.
Ads have really worked out great for me, and guerrilla marketing. Guerrilla marketing is just, I think it's a foundation to
Gotcha.
any business. Going out to the car shows, getting into the community, really digging into the community, you know what I mean? And
Yep.
getting to know them, getting your face out there, showing them that you care. So, with that being said, and Gorilla Car Care loves when I say guerrilla marketing, but with that being said, now I just made kind of like a blanket statement where I said, I think guerrilla marketing needs to be a foundation. So how have you really, has guerrilla marketing done anything for you? Have you done any guerrilla marketing and seen any kind of return on it?
um, I haven't done, like, I'm not even, I'm just in the stages of this long. I haven't even set up Google. That's how crazy it is. Like, literally, I don't. You go to Google and I'm not even on Google. Like, you'll pull it up, you'll see my Facebook and stuff like that. But that just shows, like, for this amount of
And you
time,
built a successful business. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
So,
So it's like I want to get, and I'm probably going to start getting into Google just because I want to do, like I mentioned before, I want to do more coatings. I want to really get more into the fine line of paint corrections because that's the area that I enjoy and I feel I kind of master and do well in. And I just want to spend more
mhm.
time in it. So I think that may be a section or that part of the marketing and attraction that I think I can attract more into that field. Not that you can't do it on social media with Facebook and things like that, um, yeah, I mean, for this amount of time, 12, I have not set up a Google account. I haven't set up, I mean, Instagram is fairly newer, and it's
Yeah.
just been balls out, when it comes
Yeah.
to, so,
Yeah, and you said something really impactful the other day when we were in sales as live. You said, "I now realize that ceramic coatings and paint corrections are where I want to be, and I want to
absolutely.
focus in on that."
Yep,
So, and you said, "I wish that I would have done this 5 years ago
yep,
and just gotten
absolutely.
away from everything." So that kind of goes hand in hand with what I was saying, and I'm being a little hypocritical right now myself because, dude, I'm going after everything right now. I
Sure.
need it. But your advice really got me thinking, and it's been resonating. And I even told my wife, I said, man, I need to start going after gloss enhancements, paint
Yep,
corrections, ceramics, and just go after that. They've got a bigger
yep,
price tag on them,
absolutely.
and I'm only one man. I
Yep,
can't do car washes and
nope.
paint correction and ceramics.
It's too
So
much. It's too
yeah,
much. It really
and
is.
window tint.
No, dude,
So
you gotta, you know what? I want to, the whole thing is, and
So
this is
how
kind
many
of on a
other
personal
detailers
side.
in the chat are going after it all right now? Hit us with a thumbs up. Let us know if you're also going after the whole, like just trying to grab everything everywhere. And how's that working out for you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, think of it. You have a family, a kid, a wife. You want to eventually be able to spend time. Your point is to get to a point where you're financially able to do other things. You don't need to be 7 days a week doing what you're doing. And that's where I realized, like, I'm going gung ho, crazy, just balls out, whatever. And really find it, if you're doing a gloss, a paint correction, these things, you're doing 2 or 3 a week, dude, you're set, dude. And you got the
Mm-hmm.
rest of the time to yourself to do other things, help other detailers, get into a little bit something else that's entertaining, that maybe take less of your time during the day, So I agree. I think you've got to hone into certain things. Some people like that. Some like that grind. Grind. And I did it for a long time, and still done it, and still do it. But I want to get to a point where I'm focusing on more of the coding and doing that, because I feel like you said the price tag is there. So you can
Mm-hmm.
do one car for the amount that you could do in 2 days worth of work. So it's like, why wouldn't you do it? If you
Yeah.
can perfect it and do well and be known in it, it's silly not to.
Yeah. And it's more enjoyable to me. And
I agree.
dude, it's so much easier to convince someone to spend $400 in one hit on a paint correction, you know, plus
Yeah.
400 to 600 on a ceramic coating.
Yep.
The market is different. But with detailing, car washing, dude, the market's all over the frickin' place.
It really is. It really
So,
is. It
yeah.
is.
So
It's
I
it's
think, like, for me, my strategy right now is just to come out of obscurity, get my name into the community some more. And that's what I'm doing with these after nucleus after darks.
Yep.
I'm getting I'm getting some cars in here. I'm doing some really cheap washes. They know what they're getting though. They're
Oh,
getting a
absolutely.
fast rinse and go. It's
Yep.
not a detail. But they give me a Google review, you know,
Which is huge.
which is awesome. And then they tell their friends about me. Then
Yep.
the community, all that, the word of mouth, dude, is
It
super
really is.
powerful.
It really is
So
where it goes. Yeah, I
I want to
agree.
leverage that into a gloss enhancement, ceramic coating, paint correction customer. But I
Yep.
really feel like I need to be better known within the community, and
Uh-huh.
Facebook is not my jam. That's how
Yeah.
you made your name. Facebook is not my jam.
Yeah.
Now, Google Ads, bro, I've been getting interior, just basic cars, but
Sure.
interior details, exterior details, upsell on headlights, upsell on engine bays,
Yep.
upsell them on a carpet protectant, upsell on a windshield. That's how you make your money with
Absolutely.
these. You upsell the shit out of them once they're in. So you can start low, but
Oh,
on the back of
absolutely.
your mind, you're going to upsell them on all these other things, and that's how you're going to make your money. So more than one way to skin that cat, right?
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I'm enjoying those, and I'm learning Google Ads as I do it. And I just made a new ad for Google for ceramics and paint corrections, and I'm going to start
Nice.
hitting that soon too. And I'll report in and let you guys know how that goes. Once you get enough reviews on Google, business to cause come without running ads. Awesome, dude. So how many reviews do you have straight off? Off a lot.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the same thing. Like you mentioned, like just today, like it is an upsell. I told these guys today, I went and did their cars, and I said, dude, you need to ceramic your car. And the guy was like, absolutely, absolutely. So now he's done it. Who's to say he's not going to continue and say something to someone else? I did it with another client in another neighborhood. We're doing on the 23rd. Like, I'm just these people I'm telling, hey, you want to wax your car, you want to polish your car. Have you heard about ceramic coating? Do you understand the beneficial of ceramic over waxing and polishing and paint? You can avoid all that other stuff. Within a year, 2 years, you're going to pay for the ceramic compared to if you do consistent waxing and cleaning your car as you should every 6 months, like whatever you decide you're going to do on a regular basis. It's going to pay for itself, and you're going to have a lot better car. Your car's going to look better. And I think that's kind of my go-to now, that my sales pitch that I'm selling to these guys as I'm going out with these new and existing clients. And I'm saying, hey, this is the real deal. This is what you need to do, and by that time, hopefully, if you haven't already, you've got that trust and relationship with these people, which I know I do with my clients, that they trust and understand, and they go with it. They run with it. They said, you know what, I trust you. You've been doing my car for how long? It's absolutely something that I think we should do, and that's that's kind of my go-to that I feel, because that's what I want to do. You know, that's where I want to put my energy. So
Well, that's a great sales pitch, and I think we should all try that sales pitch where you said, "Hey, this is going to pay for itself down the
absolutely.
road," because what you don't want to do is have to pay me for a paint correction. You don't want to do that because that shit gets expensive fast.
Extremely expensive.
You
And
you
when you
get
have clear coat issues and you start having oxidation and paint failure, then guess what? That ceramic coating wasn't so expensive at once, was it? Because you know what? The
no,
paint corrections, you're talking over $100 an hour for me to come and do paint corrections.
yeah, yep,
So, you know, you pick your
yep,
battles. Save yourself the money now, or pay up front now, or pay more later, you know? So
yep,
I think you got to figure out, and if you can explain that to someone and they understand that, then you're in the game. You're in it, and
yeah,
they understand it, and they appreciate the honesty. They understand that, you know, you're doing them right, and you're not trying to get one over them. You know, and I think
yeah.
that's what's important. I think a lot of
Here's
people feel
something
like,
I've learned, like as I've been doing this, and I've been more like I hate to be a salesman, but
yeah,
my time's important when I'm talking to you. If I see that you're not interested in it, I'm gone. I'm not gonna sit there. I'm giving you the game on ceramic coatings. If you're like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yeah. If you get those customers that are, yeah, uh-huh, just stop. That dude is not gonna be convinced.
nope,
On to the
nope,
next one. That's
absolutely,
how, because I do a ton of guerrilla marketing. I go to a ton of shows. And that's kind of how I handle that, and that's been successful for me. At first, I was spending a shit ton of time trying to tell them about how great it is, how it does this, that. If
sure,
they're just, yeah, yeah, but move on, man.
absolutely,
Just,
absolutely.
just
It's just your time is worth money, and that's what I think again help people understand, especially new detailers, is that understand your time, your energy, your experience, your services is worth something. Like you mentioned just a minute, sitting there and going humming and hawing with someone, and they're not convinced or they're not okay with what you got to move on. You know, you got to go
yeah,
on because you're just wasting time, money, and everything else.
yep. Get in there and get out. Sometimes you can upsell them on a lesser
Absolutely.
product. You
Yep.
know, you have to develop that ability to kind of read that customer,
Yep.
you know, right off the bat and figure out, well, will this guy go for a ceramic or will he just go for a simple headlight
Yep.
restoration? Let's just hook your headlights up, bro. Make them look
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you know, if you did a gloss enhancement on this ride, oh my God, it would look amazing.
Oh my
But
gosh. Absolutely. Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
always sell them.
No,
So,
no. But I think the thing is like I said, the biggest thing with most people, if you're upfront with them, you educate them a little bit. You don't sit there and have a full-on documentation conversation with them and sit there and have this long lecture. But if you're able to educate them in a short amount of conversation, short chat, hey, this is what it does, this is what it could benefit, this is why it's a little bit more expensive up front, but this is what you're going to get long term. People respect that. They excite it. They like it. They say, you know what? People's time's worth time too. They don't have time to sit here and hum and haw and guess and have you waste their time. So, you know, be upfront with them. Tell them what it was. Shoot them straight. You know.
have you ever tried just doing like a half of a hood for someone? Like, hey man, I'm gonna do
Oh,
half the hood for you, ceramic,
absolutely,
so you can see what it's about. Anybody
absolutely.
else in the chat, have y'all tried that and had it be successful? I've been thinking about doing that.
It's good. No, I think I've done it where someone will say, hey, you know, you'll go in there and you'll say, hey, I'm going to do a wash and I'm going to do a clay bar and then I'm going to go ahead and give it a wax. Well, you'll see the hood swirled up. You got swirl marks all over it. And I've done it multiple times where you'll sit there and you'll say, you'll polish out and buff out a part of the hood and say, hey, this is something that we provide. It's a service we can do. If this is something you think you'd like to do, here's the difference. Look at what we've done, and this is what your hood looks like now. And just having them to see the small difference between what, dude, their mouths drop. They go, they're in awe, dude. So
Well, maybe not half the whole car straight off, but just half of the hood.
yeah.
Just half the hood, especially on a black car. I
Oh
think they'll really see the difference.
yeah. No, I agree. I think so that they can see. The thing is, a lot of people don't necessarily understand what some of the products can do, and understand that, hey, you know what? They don't know what a polish compared to a buff or to a wax, and the difference of what that product does. I had to educate something this past week that I was going and doing a Kia Stinger, and he was thinking that, just waxing and polishing was going to fix all the swirl marks. And I had said, dude, that's not what it's not going to work. It's not,
Yeah.
that's not what it does. And it was a black one.
I had a
Like,
guy think the clay bar removed scratches. So yeah, I've had a guy. Actually, I did a one step on his car, and he didn't even know what the hell I was doing. So he was a buddy of mine. It was when I was just
gotcha.
starting, and I was telling him about the clay bar process. And when he posted on his social media, he was like, he clay barred my car and removed all the scratches and swirls. I was like,
Oh,
that's the opposite of what clay bars do,
I
bro.
know. I'm thinking, oh, wow.
That's my bad for not educating him, right? But dude, that's when we're all starting, man, we don't know.
No,
You know what I mean? We all go through that phase, so that was a learning process for me. It was definitely hilarious though. He was on there just trying to hype me up as much as he could. Man, he's the best. His clay bars are the best. Get him to clay bar your car. I'm like, oh my God. Dude,
that is great, dude.
they're
That
gonna,
is
oh man.
awesome.
That was good shit.
No, that's good though. I mean, hey, sometimes it takes one of those to understand. Hey, yeah, clay bar works, but that's let me educate how it works. Really, it's not taking out your scratches, buddy. But that's all
So
right.
we talked about the hurdle you encountered your big hurdle at the 3 year point,
Yeah,
and you got through that hurdle by. It sounds like you just gave yourself a talking to, a good talking to, right?
it
And told
really
yourself,
is.
I need to
Yeah,
refocus myself.
it's kind of
So
like
kind of rewind a little bit and talk to us a little bit more about how you got past that hurdle where you weren't feeling it anymore.
I think for me, coming from the corporate world and coming from that, and I know what I had gone through for the many years, it was kind of my kick in the ass, my kick in the butt, saying, hey, you know what? I'm not interested in going back to that. That's not what I do. So I personally have got to find, and it can be the same no matter what your background and where you're coming from. If you're getting into the detail world new or whatever the case is that I wanted to make it work. I didn't want it. I didn't want to be a failure. I didn't want to quit. I didn't want to say that I couldn't be successful in something I started. So for me, it was like, what other alternatives, what other avenues can I do to make it work? And that's where I had to re-dig and find out, okay, where am I going to get the most for my time and being able to reach the most people at a quicker path? And that was where I started. I really started digging into the social side when it came to Facebook. What avenues can I
Okay.
attack? How many more people can I get?
There
And
we
that's
go. So at the 3 year mark, you started diving deep into Facebook, and
absolutely
that changed your entire business.
completely changed everything.
What
Yeah.
were you doing before that? How were you going about getting business?
Word of mouth, trying to, really just word of mouth. And then I would talk to, if I did a job, I'd give them a brochure. Hey, why don't you pass it along? Why don't you talk to someone? I tried to communicate and send messages to people I worked with before in the past in the corporate world. Hey, this is what I'm doing now. If you want to pass on my word, hey, I'm getting in the detail world. So it was really just kind of networking within my own connection of family and friends, using them as kind of leverage to try to get me new clients. So and I toggled a little bit into Facebook, but I wasn't in it to where I'm at now, where I'm extremely far into it.
All
So it was
right. So
just surface.
give us the game on the Facebook in 5 steps. How do we become successful at marketing ourselves on Facebook? If you need more than 5 steps, great, but
Yeah.
try to give
I
it to us in a
I
quick summary.
I think the quickest and the best way that you can really get into um, and really start kind of seeing results very quickly, um, for me, was getting into the local market when it came into communities. I felt that was my biggest, quickest turn and return, was initially just trying to get into the communities within the valley that I live in. How quickly can attract? So joining these community groups, joining into
Step
these car.
one, join as many community groups as you can. How often do you suggest blasting those
Uh, I
with?
blast I blast them twice a week. Twice a week.
Just twice a week.
Yep, twice
Wow.
a week. Yep, I'll do
Okay.
midweek, and then Sunday evening I'm blasting, 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 blasting. And then once I've got a significant amount of clientele. So then at the end of the month, I send out blasts to all my clients. hey, we're starting a new month. Let's get you started. Let's get you booked. Get you for cleaning. You're overdue. Your detail was last month or 2 months ago. We need to get you back in here. So,
So let's talk about how you're tracking your clients, because farming clients is super underrated, I think. I think a lot of
mm-hmm,
folks, they get their clients, sometimes they get their names, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they get
yep,
their number, sometimes they don't.
yep.
How important to your business has it
Uh,
been to document all your clients and put them
uh,
in a system, a spreadsheet, a
it
CRM?
it is huge. That I would not be able to have as much continuous repeat clientele if I wouldn't have done or do what I'm doing now. And that is phone number, address, full name, email address. You want to have everything that you're able to communicate and kind of, if you have a home phone, I need a home phone. You have a cell phone, I have a cell phone. You have an email, I need your email address. I need your full address, I need your full name. That's for me to book a client, that is something I have to have before I put them on my schedule. I need all that from you. If you can't give me that, and then I need to know what kind of car, what year, what color, all that stuff's going to be in that profile of that particular client.
And what are you using to log all that in?
So I have obviously I have it listed. There's an app that I use. You can use, PayPal has one too, and then Square has one too that works. There's several different ones you can use. There's an app that I pay that I have all my clientele in, that I've been using for a while, and it's pretty simple. You can use an Excel sheet if you don't want to. I mean, there's apps out there on the App Store that you can pay that will kind of manage that for you. That uploads it. You can send out mass emails and things like that. Um, Initially, I just used Excel sheet at the beginning. That's all I did. I just kept an Excel sheet, had it all simply documented. Last time that I provided service, what I provided service, what they paid, did they tip, did they not tip? Was it a destroyed car? Were they honest about their car when I got it or when I got there? Was it all these little things, little key things remind me. So when they call me or they text me back, say, hey Matt, I'm ready for a detail. Well, you know what? I quoted you this price. I got there. The car was destroyed. I had to quote them more. So, now I need to really be sure I understand where I'm at when I'm coming to adjust prices, and help them understand, hey, what condition is your
Mm-hmm.
car in? So really just simplifying it. Those particular items have to be in there. Like I said, address, phone number, email, all that stuff. So, and then you're able to go back and reblast that stuff. And then as each time I do a job, I update it. Hey, this November 2nd was the time I did this. I detailed this. I did this to this car. So when I go back in and send a massive email blast or text messages to everyone, I know exactly who I'm sending it to and who I'm not sending it to. Because I'm not going to send it to someone I just did a detail for yesterday, So
So are you still using Excel to track your customers?
I do still have it on Excel, but I use this particular app that I have that I've downloaded that I can kind of tell you I can't think of the name.
I lost you. He's trying to access the app.
Yeah. So there's an app called Invoice, that I use, and it allows you to put all your and I pay a small portion fee each month to use it, but it allows me to put all the client's information in there. Allows me to put notes in it. It allows me to send invoices, like official invoices to them after every job. It's just, I like it because it's simple. It's a one-stop shop for me.
Dude,
Every
I've got an awesome app that I just started using. You get a 1 year free trial with it. I'm going to put you on it when we get
Okay.
off of here.
Oh,
If
great.
anybody else is interested in a CRM and app that can track customers like that, hit me with a DM. Because I'm doing one-on-one Zoom calls with this app
Oh,
to kind
great.
of help people get the basics. And dude, I just started using it probably about 3 weeks ago, and it's already been a huge impact on my business. Like
Yeah.
you were saying, dude, it's super important to have all that information so that you can know. I think what's really impressive is that from the onset, you knew, hey man, I need to see how honest this customer was.
Yep.
Was he honest with me about his condition, the condition of his car? So that when you go back out there, you know that Fred Jones bullshitted you last time.
Absolutely.
You know, and now you
Absolutely.
can be prepared to quote him appropriately and not be taken by surprise, or
Absolutely.
price him appropriately when you show up. Because sometimes, especially if you're new to the game, these customers catch you off guard, man,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and they'll
Absolutely.
take advantage of that all day long. So
100%. Yep.
yeah,
100%. Yeah. No, I think that's key. Having your business, knowing your business, and knowing it thoroughly, and having your clientele, um, you know, saved and market, and have that information, because I'll tell you, there's nothing better than continue to repeat clientele. I mean, it's easy. I mean, it's, it's always going to be there. You know what you're getting into. It's not a new surprise, and I don't know. I mean, if I can continue to get the same work and get paid well with the same client, why would I do that? Why not do it? You know.
so how much business is being generated from farming your already existing customers with emails and text messages?
Um,
What percentage of your business would you say is coming from that?
I'd probably say about 90%.
90%.
Yep.
Dude,
Yep. Yep.
that's amazing, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
90%. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, it's and I get new people, but like it's like as of now, I mean, like we're booked out all the way through November. We have no time for anyone new. Like now, I'm telling people, we can do December.
Let's
You
put you on a
know,
wait list.
yeah, that's where
Yeah.
I'm at. So
So at this point, your client list is so big that all you have to do is send out a few text messages
that's it. That's it. Like I'll give you an
to get
example.
booked.
We had a couple cancellations for the ending of this week. Just some reschedules that needed reschedules. Some personal issues came up. And I sent out some emails and some text messages today, and I was able to fill all their slots for Thursday and Friday. So it's just, but that goes back by having your documentation, have your clientele, have it clean, know your business, know where they're at, what you did, so that you can send that out and get an
Yeah,
appointment, get that right away, so you're not sitting there waiting.
most
And
deaf. I think that's overlooked. That's often
absolutely,
overlooked. It's like, all right,
absolutely,
man, I got this customer. I'm just happy to get this customer. Let me do a great job for this customer, and let me go try to get a new customer.
yep,
And you forget to save. That's happened to me so many times, man. And
absolutely.
I'm a year and a half in, I think now, or 2 years. I don't know. My wife is in here. Wife, how long have we been doing this? I think it's
Uh,
going on 2 years. But yeah, I'm starting to really realize that farming is super powerful.
oh,
Farming these
absolutely.
existing customers. And do you feel kind of bad when you send out mass emails? Do you feel like, ah, man, I'm bugging this person. They
Nope,
haven't called me. If they wanted a car wash, they would call me. If
nope,
they wanted a
nope,
detail, they would
nope,
call me.
nope,
Have
nope,
you
nope.
ever had a customer say to you, dude, stop sending me shit?
No,
You know?
what they'll say is, I get 99% of the people saying, Matt, I was just thinking about that. I want my car cleaned. When can you schedule the detail? Hey, you know what? I just was thinking about you and I was going to email you. I just forgot about getting out to you. You know what? It's been a while. We talked about it and I just never got back to you. I apologize. They start apologizing to you for not getting back to you. I've had a
Yeah,
few
man.
that said, you know what? We're good this month. We're good for the next couple months. I'll reach back out to me in about 2 months.
You know how I've been
Perfect.
rolling lately? Is if I feel like I need to send that customer a reminder on their appointment,
Yeah.
I don't think about it. I don't procrastinate it. I send it.
No,
You think if you
absolutely.
think you need to send this customer a
Yeah.
reminder on that service that y'all talked about last time he was here, don't think about it. Send it.
Absolutely. There's
That's my
there
wife.
I think
So
that
almost 2 years. Go
I
detailer, go.
I think for me, and I think that comes from the sales background, and for me is that, you're not gonna, and this is from trainings that sales 101. If you don't ask, you're never gonna get the sale. So, and what I mean by that is if you don't ask someone, you're never gonna know if they need it or if they want it. So the fear, what can they tell you? Yes or no? If they say no, okay, we'll knock it, we'll put it down, and we'll reach back out to you again. But if you never ask because you're worried about the fear of them telling you no, guess what? You ain't getting the job. And eventually
Yeah,
what's
man.
going to happen is someone else is going to get a hold of them, and then you're going to lose them.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
Dude,
how that's how I am.
awesome.
But that's just
I needed to hear that.
yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of other folks that need to hear it too. So there you go, boys. Don't be afraid to go out there and
Don't be
get that
afraid.
freaking sale, man. Send the
Absolutely.
email, send the text, make the call.
100%.
Because like
100%.
Gorilla Car Care just said, closed mouth don't get fed.
Amen. Hey,
We
couldn't
got
say it
that.
any better.
Yeah,
Couldn't say it
man.
any better.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Wise man said, closed mouth don't get fed.
It's so true. It's so true. You can't say it any better. That there it is right there. I mean, it really is. So, if you want something to grow, if you want something to be successful, you have to ask, and you have to continue to be persistent. Persistent is what wins the game. It isn't the one that waiting around for someone to call you. I'm not going to call you unless I'm in desperate need, and you need to be the persistent one calling me so that I can actually have you do the service. That's just, I don't know. It's a mentality you have to get into. You have to feel comfortable. It may be uncomfortable at the beginning, but once you get comfortable doing it, it becomes natural. It becomes normal. It becomes a continued, consistent thing that you're going to do. It is. I mean, if you're not been in sales, it may be uncomfortable. It may be a little awkward, but it goes away quick.
Yeah, and one thing I think that goes along with that is confidence. If you're
Absolutely.
confident that you're going to deliver an awesome service, if you're confident you're going to deliver a lot of value for what you're charging, there's no reason to feel bad about,
Yep.
hey, let me reach out to such and such about what we talked about. Because it's not like you're ripping them off.
No.
You're giving them a fantastic service.
Service.
And if
Absolutely.
you're not confident in your services yet, then maybe you still have a little work to do around that. And that's where these detailing seminars, I think, can take you
Yep.
to that next level if you're a
Yep.
new detailer that's just getting in the game.
I
And
agree.
I don't know if you've noticed or like how do you feel about all the new content on YouTube? Do you feel like it's kind of helped us get our name out there more? Or obviously it has, right?
Yeah.
But has it inspired a lot more detailers? Have you seen a lot more competition just coming up the last few
Oh,
years
absolutely.
through the do
Absolutely.
you attribute
Absolutely.
that to the popularity of guys like Larry,
Yep.
Apex,
Absolutely.
even
Yeah.
Chicago Auto Pros?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I see that in Phoenix being the weather is fairly nice year round. I mean, it just is. So, we don't have the variance in weather and that you do in some of these other states. But I'll tell you, I see and being on Facebook, I see it all day long. There's always a detailer, always a detailer. Hey, I'm starting a new business. I'm new at this game. Hey, I'd love to wash your car for $50. I mean, I see it every single day. But you know what? I still continue to get people. I continue to still get new people on Facebook and social media. Why aren't they going to the $50 man? Well, there's a reason why.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
so
some folks hear a low number and they think not going to be good.
no,
So you almost always get what you pay for. You
absolutely.
know, to find someone cheap that is good, it's someone new, and you better hope they're passionate
Yep.
about what they're doing. So that
And
means you got someone coming up, and in a few months, they're probably not going to be that cheap anymore.
no, no.
And like
And
what we were saying before, if they're trying to live
oh,
on that cheap of a true detail, a
yeah.
true detail is going to
Yep.
take you 4+ hours. You're not
Absolutely.
going to make it, man.
No, you're not gonna make it. How are you gonna make it with your hours? You accommodate your gas, your travel time, your supplies.
Yeah, ooh,
You ain't
dude,
gonna
it's
make it.
mobile
You ain't
right
gonna make it.
now.
You ain't making
Holy
it.
crap,
Yeah,
dude. Mobile with these gas prices. So
yeah.
how are you dealing with that, Matt? How are you dealing with these crazy gas prices being mobile? Have you
Uh,
adjusted your pricing for it?
there is. I mean, I actually a couple clients just recently, and I've started telling them that there's prices are increasing with our supplies. They really are. There's
They
products
are.
that you're
Dead
not being
ass.
able to get.
Gorilla can tell us that.
Yeah,
He
I mean,
was, yeah.
I'm telling you. I mean, I've seen it with multiple people from tire shine and gels and the shortage of supplies to make these products, and they're jacking prices up because of shortage of demand. So I tell them, hey, I've got to make, and if I'm paying for it, I can't take the hit on everything. So gas prices are increasing. What I'm trying to do is really spend more time on focusing on location. Okay, today I'm going to try to focus and accommodate as much as I can in this centrally location instead of going like I was before. I'd go on this part of the valley and then I'd shoot over to this side and do some jobs and
Oh,
then come
so
back
you're
home.
organizing, you're planning your routes out better.
Absolutely. That I have
10-4.
to. Like I can't do the job hopping and bumping back and forth anymore. I can't financially and gas wise it makes sense. You
I
know.
mean, so what should we say to the guy that's new that just got into mobile detailing and has to take whatever you can get?
I think you know what, there is right now. It's hard because we're in a different situation, a different time. We really
Yeah, man.
are. And so and I hate to be that guy, but it is. You're starting. It's a challenging time to start.
You're
It
kind of
really
starting
is.
at a bad time,
You
mobile,
really are. And
right?
not saying you
That's
can't be
kind of how I feel
successful.
too.
Yeah, you can still be successful, but I'll tell you right now, it's gonna take a lot of grinding and it's gonna take a lot of work because
A
of
lot of fortitude.
100%. It
Yeah.
really is. It really is. And it's not that you can't do it and can't be successful. It's just you got a lot more hurdles to overcome, unfortunately, you of where we're at, you know.
I think that person, I don't know if there's anybody in here right now that's just starting mobile. I think that person really has to focus in on their pricing.
Absolutely.
And really figure out what hourly wage they want to charge, how much they want to make a year, and just dial that shit in to
Yep.
perfection. Because if not, you're going to get killed, man.
Oh,
The-
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, these gas prices. Or get an electric vehicle.
Exactly.
Get an electric vehicle, bro. There you go. That's the answer.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm working on a mobile detailing kit that, like a minimalist type detail kit. I'm trying to put some together right now. Have you seen those battery powered pressure washers that
Oh yeah.
feed from, you can feed it from a bucket, bro.
Wow.
So, have you seen those?
I haven't seen the one that fed from the, but no, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
It's like an ion lithium battery, kind of like what
Okay.
they use for the drills, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you run a hose from it to a bucket, so you
Wow.
can feed that water from a 5-gallon bucket. And if you combine that with a rinseless wash, hey, might be onto something there, right?
Yeah,
So you go. Do you use
absolutely.
any rinseless washes?
We do. Oh, I do. On my,
I
I
love
have.
rinseless,
Oh,
dude.
absolutely. And on my, I have clientele that I do weekly that they have their cars cleaned every week. So those particular
Oh,
ones,
rinseless
oh,
all day.
absolutely. Yeah, there's just no need
Yeah.
to. Yeah, and they're in great shape. The garage caps.
That's all I put in my bucket now, dude. I don't ever put soap in my bucket anymore. I do rinseless wash. And the I'm learning more about the chemistry behind it. So a soap is a solute, which is something that's gonna emulsify. So you get a soap on there, it starts to emulsify all the particles, right? And then you hit it with the water, and the water is a solvent. So water is gonna dissolve all that soap and get all that shit off there. Now you're relying on that soap to have done its job and knocked all that grind off.
Yep.
If it didn't, now you're drying or you're scrubbing. Yeah, well, at this point now you're drying, and you're drying with that grime on there still. So
Yep.
you want that extra kick, dude. Foam, then rinseless wash in your bucket. The rinseless wash has so much lubricity in it. I'm trying to figure out what this rinseless wash chemical makeup is, because it definitely does not it emulsifies, but it
Yeah.
also stays on there. The water doesn't eat through it as fast.
Yep.
Dude, I'm gonna figure this shit out. I'm gonna call Optimum tomorrow because it's killing me, dude. Like, I know it's working, but I'm
Yeah.
having a hard time explaining it to detailers.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to see everybody using rinseless washes, man. They're just so awesome. They've changed my whole life, bro. And I wasn't using foam anymore until I've got my hands on Gorilla's foam. And
Oh,
now,
okay.
dude, I love how it smells. I love how it foams up. I just got to use it now. He hooked me with that damn scent he put in it. Damn it,
I
Matt.
I love the scent, dude. The scent, even his other scents, like the interior cleaner and the dressing and dude, they all smell good. I mean, it
Yeah,
really does. Like freaking bad.
he killed the game.
And we're using a lot of his. I'm out of it, so I can't wait till my Gorilla stuff gets here soon. I saw it shipped out, so I'm excited. But the tire and wheel cleaner, that stuff is no joke. That stuff, I'll
No,
tell you, that stuff is the real deal. It
yeah.
really is,
Are
man.
you sponsored by him yet? You need to get on the
Yeah,
sponsorship
we did.
program,
We
dude.
just set it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just got it set up. So that'll help. So yeah, I'm excited to get that. And I mean, I just good stuff. I mean, I was running out of it, so I'm anxious to get it sooner the better. So I'm excited to get it soon. So
Are you following XYZ?
I am. Yep.
Congratulations, XYC. I saw a post about you earlier today, I think. You're the first one to hit level 3 for his sponsorship perks.
Oh,
Great
nice.
job, man. And that's another, dude, that's another great example. I mean, I saw this dude just focusing on Gorilla. Like, he went from nothing but atoms to nothing but Gorilla every freaking day. And, dude, when you focus in on one thing and just
Yep.
really just go in on it, you'll do some shit. You'll get some shit done.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
that's
No,
some
that's good.
advice I need to follow. And yeah, man, I need to start holding myself accountable and make a roadmap for exclusively doing gloss enhancements, ceramics. No more car washes.
Yep.
No
Well,
more window tint.
but this is something you can do. Get to the point where, hey, I do the enhancements, the gloss, I do the coatings. I'll maintain your car if you allow me to do that. I'll wash your car. I'll do this, and that's something I've kind of sat and I thought about, if I sell something, not that I would do it free, but it would be kind of at a price that makes sense to them. Hey, you let me ceramic your car. It's going to be easy for me to maintain. Then I'll maintain it for this price. You're not going to go wrong. So it's kind of a 2-for-1. You're paying up front for the detail or the ceramic coating or whatever you decide to do the coating. But then I'm maintaining, and it's going to be maintained well. You've already got the coating on it. It's not like it's going to be hard to clean and take care of.
So I think, dude, that's a great point, and I think that's where you can get to. Now, me and Matt have been talking for the last few hours. We've covered a lot of amazing topics from how to get over hurdles in your detailing business and get it to the next level, how to really focus in on one thing to take your business to the next level. Also, we talked about marketing strategies, how to farm your customers, and how important that is. Um, Great advice in here for mobile detailers. We're going to go ahead and wrap this interview up. Matt, thank you so much for your time, dude. I really appreciate you hopping
No,
in
I
here with
appreciate you
me.
having me. I know it was great. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to jumping in and being engaged in these going forward. So I look forward to doing these and being as much involved as possible. So I appreciate you having me on. I think it's great. I love being able to at least give my site and help where I can help. It's like we talked about before. There's nobody better than anybody else, and we're out here to build a detail nation and brotherhood. Like that's the way I look at it. I mean,
Yeah,
if we
man.
can help one another, that's what's important, and we
I
should all
agree
be
a
willing to help each other.
100%. Let's
So
elevate our industry to the next level through knowledge, education, and just being real with each other, right? End of the day.
absolutely,
Let's just
absolutely,
be real with each other about everything and help each other out, man. Like you said, it's a brotherhood.
it really
And
is. And I can't wait
also,
to get this summit, this conference together, dude. I'm first one there, so you let me know when it is.
I'm
And well,
starting I- I'll get a Discord going right now for us. And do you
okay.
have Discord?
I don't know.
Discord is kind of a funky app, dude.
Okay,
It's kind of weird when you first get into it, and then once you get a feel for it, it's amazing. So
okay.
you'll have to kind of bear with it and play with all the features and shit, but once you
Yep.
get it, it's awesome, dude. So I'll start a
Send me
Discord for us.
the way that you manage your clientele too, what you were saying earlier. I'd like to see that too.
Yeah, we'll do an offline if you have time here after
Okay.
this,
Okay.
and we'll do a Zoom.
Okay.
Anyways, great having you, brother. I
Thank you,
really
brother. Appreciate
appreciate your
it.
time. We'll
No
definitely do
problem.
this again.